I don't want to be the jump master, so I'm giving it to one of y'all.
Well, Respawn Entertainment, in association with Electronic Arts, patooey, has surprised us all with the release of Apex Legends, which is a free-to-play battle royale character shooter. Now, you can't get more marketing with a big M than that now, can you? No, you can't. I don't think you can at all. Can you? No, you can't. Can you? No. It's all right. It's all right. Yes, it's a free-to-play battle royale character shooter. It's basically Fortnite Overwatch, but it's good at what it does. It seems designed primarily to be streamed on Twitch, but that doesn't mean it's a hash job by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's surprising for a game that just came out of nowhere, immediately launched without a stress test or anything, without a demo, without everything Anthem's had and still struggles to bloody run properly. This, in comparison to Anthem, runs properly. I've had a couple of technical issues. There was one where I became kill leader for the first time. I was very, very excited, and then the game just stopped. Just threw me back to the main menu. In fact, I got footage of that in this. But aside from that, and a few little issues of games not connecting or dying, trying to go back to the lobby after the squad's been killed, and it just perpetually loads a lobby. Aside from that, the actual gameplay runs really nicely. I've not experienced anything in the way of lag or slowdown, and the issues I've just mentioned are fairly few and far between. You know, I played this a fair bit, so I was trying to drink water and talk at the same time then. That's not going to work on a video, is it? But anyway, I've played a fair few goes of this. I took a break to watch Velvet Buzzsaw on Netflix, which is an alright film. You know, Jake Gyllenhaal's always nice to look at doing his performances. But in between Velvet Buzzsaw, or rather Velvet Buzzsaw being in between these two rather chunky sessions I've had of the game, I'm impressed. From a gameplay perspective, this is something that feels like it should be incredibly cynical, feels like it should be a complete rush hack job. But no, Respawn actually quite clearly gave a crap about it. People are a little upset that it appears to have come at the expense of Titanfall 3 or any future Titanfall project. We will see how that goes. Certainly Electronic Arts has not been doing Titanfall, or Respawn in general, any favours. This coming out so close to Anthem, to where it seems like Electronic Arts will be internally battling with itself. But we shall see, because this is quite different from Anthem in terms of game genre and everything. Even though they're both shooters, action games in general. You know, this being a free-to-play battle royale, Anthem being basically just Destiny. Basically, Electronic Arts is juggling its battle royale Overwatch game and its Destiny clone. And they're going to hope that between them two, they've got something that will puncture the cultural zeitgeist. Although Respawn said that EA didn't have a hand in the development of this, and I think that shows because of it being rather high quality. But that's besides the point. The combat is really rock solid. It's not super remarkable. You get a range of rather standard guns, your pistols, shotguns, various automatic, semi-automatic weapons. And they work really well. I've got no complaints about them. I can't say they're, you know, jaw-droppingly brilliant or anything at the same time. Traversing around the map, however, is quite enjoyable. It's very straightforward. There's, again, nothing fancy. But the sliding maneuver, just your standard sliding, it just feels really nice to do in this game. It's very responsive, it's very quick. Going down like a hillside or something, you can do in perpetuity. You can just slide all the way down at quite a nice speed. And that's just, it's very pleasant to move around in this game. Even though there aren't, you know, a bevy of features attached to traversal. Certainly nothing like you'd see in the Titanfall games. The different characters are... I've not had much time with all of them. I mostly play as Lifeline because I'm always a fan of support characters anyway, medics especially. And which is fun to use, but you've got all sorts of different characters that are bound by Battle Royale rules in that they've got to go and acquire their own weaponry, but they have their own passive skills and active skills. Lifeline, for example, can revive characters quicker. That's her passive. She can also throw out a healing drone. Her ultimate ability is to call down a drop pod, which will have gear in it. The robot can throw out zip lines and get knocked down, as happened just there. But yeah, they're fun. These skills aren't major difference makers. It's just a little something extra, again, just to get that character shooter vibe going. But yeah, I think I could have fun experimenting with the different characters, seeing if I find anything better than Lifeline, but Lifeline's certainly been my main thus far. Look at that. Look at that. Just game over. Game over. That was the best I was doing. And admittedly, it wasn't all that great. Anyway, Apex is a squad-based game. Squads of 3 specifically. One of you is the jump leader. Before a game starts, you determine where the squad drops in. No one has to follow that. If you disagree with where the team's dropping in, you can drop in on your own and make your way to them. Not altogether recommended. The teams that stick together tend to win, which is saying nothing because that should be obvious. That's not in-depth strategy. You don't have to be fucking Rommel to work that tactic out. I am impressed, though, at how well the communication features are in this game. If you're someone like me who gets anxiety at the best of times when playing with random people, and most people are dicks in general, so you just don't want to talk to them, the communication features built into the game are really quite robust. You know, you can point out enemies, you can point out items, you can suggest where to go, you can agree, all with very straightforward button presses. Nothing revolutionary, but it's all just nice to see. They've really cared about making sure that however you play, you can at least get along in a squad. It remains to be seen what other kind of modes we might get in future, but for those who aren't altogether comfortable playing with randoms or can't at that time get a team together of people they know, you can survive it quite well, quite adequately, I feel. I mean, I've won matches without having to chat to anyone. But of course, better recommendation, get some friends together, mic up, and communicate. Because, well, again, you just up your chances, and you don't have to be Rommel. Now, one issue I have with the game is, unlike something like Fortnite or PUBG or any other Battle Royale I've given a go, it seems a little stingier on weapons and ammunition. It's been very common for me so far to drop in without a gun and have a tough time finding one, or finding one and just having pissy amounts of ammo for it. That's a problem that the longer you play within a given match, lessens up, of course, as more people die and more gear's dropped around. But in games like Fortnite, I've always felt like I can drop in and almost always get something to survive with almost immediately. Whereas here, I found myself scrabbling a bit more than I ordinarily would. I mean, in a situation like this, where my squad is kind of caught in a corridor, I can't help them out. Though I will say, actually, it makes you bolder. I've never been more keen to run into a melee-style scrap with someone who's got a fucking gun. And every now and then, I've actually managed to punch my way out of trouble. So you can contribute, I suppose, if you don't mind eating a bunch of lead and running in to slap someone in the face. As far as monetization goes, I'm not entirely impressed. Being a free-to-play game, it's got microtransactions, of course. I've got no issue with the microtransactions in theory in a free-to-play game, unless, of course, the microtransactions are implemented poorly. Now, this game has loot boxes, which I don't find acceptable in any context, if they're premium, if they're paid for. So I don't care for those at all, but you do get them. And following on from Overwatch, they're stuffed mostly with guff. You can get character skins, none of which so far I've looked at have been particularly impressive at all. Character banners, character quips, just voice lines, character finishers for melee kills, and weapon skins. Why would I care? jump in and grab whatever weapons you can get. I feel no particular affinity for any of them, so I don't really care about skinning them up. So, as with several games that have loot box systems, there's only one or two item types in them, I should say, that are of particular use to most people, and then even among those, you will only get a handful of things you actually give a shit about. So, yeah, I don't care for the loot box system at all. And even when it comes to direct purchases of skins and whatnot, none of it's all that good looking so far. I've looked at the premium skins and they don't impress me at all. There's nothing I'd want to spend money on. Compare it to something like Fortnite, where I actually have dropped money on it to get some skins here and there because they actually looked remarkable, impressive, interesting. Most of these are just uninspired paint jobs and tat. So it's not something I currently feel inclined to support monetarily. Most of all this stuff is cosmetic. They promise there aren't any pay-to-win things. That said, there are two characters right now, two of these legends, that you have to unlock either by directly purchasing or grinding for the bullshit currency to get them. You got three currencies: your bullshit free currency, crafting materials to make things, and the premium currency. It's all fairly straightforward. You've got a screen that looks like a mobile phone screen, but for the most part the monetization can be safely ignored, not just because it has very little impact on gameplay for the most part, but also because, as I say, none of it's all that great to begin with. It's just not worth paying for. Apex Legends has had a somewhat exciting start. There's been quite a bit of buzz about it since it came out very, very recently. Certainly people are playing it right now. It's not like the Culling 2, which came out and I couldn't even get in any games because there was no one around. That's not an issue right now. We will have to see how well it does in future. Obviously, people already have Overwatch. They already have Fortnite. One issue with markets and market leaders is they tend to lead, they don't follow. I've said this before, and this game is certainly following quite a few success stories that we already have and people are already enjoying. Plus, Electronic Arts has sandwiched this, well, not so much sandwiched it as used it as the appetizer for Anthem, which it's put most of its promotion behind. So we'll see if that has any impact. That should be interesting to see. I am intrigued by the future of this one. I cannot right now say whether it'll be a success or a flop. Something tells me it will perform somewhat strongly for a while, and I don't know, I worry it might just have a kind of a whimper of an end, as do quite a few games that join in on genres at this stage. But we shall see. I am not pulling against it, I'll say that much. I'm not gung-ho super excited about the game myself. It's not kept me glued and wanting to play it all day, every day. Something like Fortnite grabbed me in a more immediate fashion in that way. But I wish it all the best. I will be keeping an eye on it. Probably drop in, still play it here and there. And, yeah, Apex Legends is certainly better than one would expect. And that isn't exactly faint praise, because it is quite good. Quite good indeed. So I would certainly, for the price of free, I would recommend downloading it and giving it a go. You never know, you might enjoy it. Just, if they want to get me spending money, they'd have to A, get rid of the loot boxes, and B, give me something I give even the remotest crap about buying. But as far as just downloading it and playing it, no complaints. That's Apex Legends for you.